Hello BookTube, this is Sarah from Never Out of Books, and I am back again today with my July book haul. This is slightly late, but I just can't film and do everything all at one time. So these are all the books that came into my home in July. Most of them are from book boxes and subscription services. The first book I'm going to show you came in my Bookly box, which is one of my favorite boxes. I subscribe to the regular adult service. And what came this past month was The Hunger Trace by Edward Hogan. This looks like a fantastic book. It is from the UK. I really enjoy the Bookly box because they really do find fantastic books that are not mainstream. The next book I got from my Lit Cube, which is probably my next favorite book box, and the theme was a very great adventure. It was a Peter Pan theme box, and in it came the Neverland Wars by Audrey Greathouse. Strangely enough, I've seen it around on Pinterest. Go figure. I don't usually use Pinterest for my reading, but it popped up in my feed one time. So I'm interested in this, and it was a good month for this box. I think I'm skipping next month's box. The next three books that I received from what used to be the Book Riot quarterly box and is now the YA Lit, I believe they call it, quarterly box. I felt like I would try these two out and see what I thought. What came in the box, which was curated by Beth Revis, and it came A World Without You, which is her new release. If you see in here, there's little sticky notes. It's annotated. I've never read a book that was annotated before, so I'm kind of curious to see how this goes. I mean, do you read the stickies while you're reading the book? Does that like chop the book up though and make it weird? Or do you go back and read them when you're done? I'm not really sure how to do this, but this book actually looks very good. The next book that came in that box was The End or Something Like That. This is by Anne D. Ellis, and I'm not sure that this book is really my type of book, so we'll see when I get to this. This is not high priority though, to be honest. And the next book that came was Belzar by Meg Wolitzer. And again, this is another one that it's a little bit too harsh for me. This can drive me into a bad zone. So this is not incredibly high on the list for reading. As a result, I did cancel this subscription. I will not be getting more of these boxes at this point. I have so many books to read, and the amount of books that I'm bringing in per month from the book boxes is making me feel a bit overwhelmed. And then, you're getting books a lot of times that are not the ones that you don't really want to read. The next box that I got was the regular lit box from Quarterly that replaced the adult lit box that Book Riot had done. This one was curated by Lauren Weisberger, who wrote The Devil Wears Prada. I have not read this book, but I was definitely a little bit more intrigued in this box than the young adult one. And I don't think I'm going to be disappointed. The book that came, The Singles Game, which is her new book, looks really good. It's right up my alley, so I'm actually kind of excited about this. And again, these are also annotated with little sticky notes in places. I'm not really sure how to read that. I guess I'll just read and see when I get to it. And it looks really good. This box also came, unfortunately, with a book I already own, The 800 Grapes, so I'll probably be unhauling, trying to sell it somewhere. I don't know what I'm going to do. It also came with Still Alice by Lisa Genova, and again, this is another heavy-hitting book, a hard-hitting book. I have to be in the right frame of mind to read this, although this book looks fantastic. So I am glad to have it in my collection, although I probably would have just gotten it from the library. So again, with this box, I decided that I was going to cancel it for now. Maybe I will go back to it when I have a bit more money and have read down my TBR a bit in the future. The next book I got from Book of the Month. This is another subscription that I will be keeping because I really enjoy that I can choose the book, I know it's coming, I can skip a month if I desire, and these books tend to go through all of the adults in the house, and everyone seems to enjoy them, although I have not gotten to very many of them yet because my TBR is so giant. So this month I chose Missing Presumed by Susie Steiner. This looks fantastic. I went to Barnes & Noble and I purchased some books. I purchased 3 books for my daughter that I will read, but she has them in her book and she's currently still sleeping. Yeah, pre-teenager, she sleeps forever. I got the My Little Pony Friendship is Magic graphic novel omnibuses, number 1, 2, and 3. And she is like reading them and rereading them and rereading them. So I haven't gotten a chance to read them yet. The other books that I purchased were The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian by Sherman Alexie. And I bought this because I tend to buy the books that I use for school for my daughter, because then we can read them at our leisure and have them when we want them. This I am going to read first before I decide whether or not she's too young for it yet. I've heard there's some content issues in here. It might not be really good for her. She's going into 7th grade, so could be iffy. She's a young, just 12, so again, I'm going to read it first. I also bought The Outsiders, and this is a beautiful edition of it. Yeah, and I've never read either of these books, so I am going to hopefully get to them by the end of this year and see where we sit with when we're going to use these for school. And you can see where my problem is. I have way too many books coming into my home. There are too many books to read in this world, and we really have to be, I feel, very selective in what we read. And this is why I very much believe in DNFing books if they're really not suiting you, because there are so many books out there to read. This is why I also believe that if I don't want to read something that has wizards and all kinds of magic in it, that no one should be upset. There are plenty of books that don't have those elements in it that I can read and enjoy. With all of these books coming into my home, I really did have to make some decisions this month with cutting out some of the book boxes, because this is just from book boxes. I got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 books. I mean, I can read up to 14 books in a month. I've done that before, but you know, there's a lot to read. It's too much coming in. It's more coming in than I can actually read. And I really have a goal of reading the books as they come into my home. I would like to have read these books or be finishing up these books as I get them. So there's a bit of frustration there, and I really am cutting back and only keeping 2 to possibly 3 book boxes a month, and hopefully I can stick with that and limiting my buying. The problem is then I've also started using my library more. See, we get around it some way. What are you gonna do, right? So anyway, that's that. Oh, I will talk to you all again, and I can't wait to get reading. Bye.